Hi, my name is Brian Douglas. I started tracking this as sort of an independent citizen journalist. Immediately following the elections, a friend of mine contacted me on the day of and told me, very distraught, that she was forced into an affidavit and extremely certain that she has been a Democrat her whole life, most recently voting in the mayoral primary. I'd like to speak about the complete lack of confidence that every New Yorker should have in this Board of Elections. From what I have researched in going back to the Department of Investigations report in 2013, is everyone here familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah, and so reading that, and then the oversight committee hearing that ensued with City Council, finding our allies in City Council, such as Ben Kalos, and you guys seem to really be an ally, and I really want to say how much I appreciate what you have put together here, as much as a struggle it might have been to get the word out, though I don't know you could have handled the volume if the word got out.
Exactly, yeah.
And I just want to say that having now tracked this and gone to the last 4 commissioners' hearings over the last month, watching the live stream, the one I didn't, they have had such a dismissive and condescending posture towards legitimate grievances. And I was there when about 100 people showed up, and everyone from voters to poll workers to witnesses, coordinators, all testifying to extremely disturbing issues. None of that bothered them. It would bother them if we went over our 2 minutes, and I thank you again for giving everybody an extent. The only thing that really raised their ire was when someone just at the end refused to respect the decorum and dropped an F-bomb, and that just was the end of it. And I'll say, yeah, that's not the most effective strategy, but at the same time, everyone had been respectful up to that point, and I thought it was very telling that that's all that really bothered them. And another issue I just want to bring up and stress is that I don't think they have any credibility on this affidavit audit. Specifically, on Friday at the Oversight Committee testimony, I have here some notes from what Michael Ryan said. First of all, he said that, he used the words that this was clearly troubling, this election. We don't see that sort of reaction when you actually interact with him as a member of the public, but he tried to placate the City Council and say they consider this clearly troubling. What's more, he stated that the board had instituted an intensive, this is a quote, an intensive review process of all affidavit ballots, and that each ballot in the invalid pile was scrutinized for potential eligibility over and above the routine invalid process. And today I went to the commissioner's hearing and I specifically asked him, can you tell me what you feel makes this qualify as being intensive or over and above your routine? And I was given a very long answer, exhaustive answer about, well, every affidavit ballot that came in, we went to our computers and we printed out, and we have a stack of paper, this gesture is this big, and we went through that, and their voting history and everything, and I just had to do a quick spreadsheet today and just say, if it took them, what he's describing, printing it out and reading what you print out, conservatively, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we're talking about 30,000 hours worth of time. And if I'm trying to get I've asked him, what was your staffing levels in this audit? We'll get back to you later. And Bridget Bergman from WNYC has asked them similar questions about the totals of affidavits from previous years, so we can she's been stonewalled continually on that. And according to my calculations, if they had a staff of, 30, 40, 50, and they're all working 10-hour days, doing nothing but looking at those affidavits, it would have required 50, the total number of days is 2,500 days. Let's say, though, they had a staff of 50 people. So you break that down, would have still required 50 days to actually conduct an audit. And what you have heard here from people who tried to witness the audit, and that's one person, I've spoken to many in going to these meetings and talking to people, I simply do not believe them. And based on city agency reports, I don't think anyone should. The problem is that our allies, whether it's you or the City Council, seem to be toothless. Even the mayor has offered them a challenge grant of $20 million. Here's $20 million, improve things, transparency and performance. And they won't take it because it comes with conditions, being that you should do your job better. Thank you. That's all I gotta say. And I want to find our allies with teeth. And if you guys are really about this, and I know you're like, well, we're trying to organize this, we need you to get a little more public with your anger. Hold a press conference and say, what we've heard is troubling. Use your microphone. This does not, I'm tired of hearing going forward from all the city agencies. We're going to fix this going forward. We heard that about the Bush administration and all the crimes that were committed to get us into the wars in Iraq. We keep looking forward. When do we look back? Yes. When is it time to fix what happened? Thank you. And I would like anyone's email address.
Mr. Ginsburg, quick question. Were you at the audit?
I was not able to attend the audit, but I have spoken now with several people who were. I can put you in contact with them.
Okay. I mean, just in observations, I mean, did any of them anecdotally tell you how many people they witnessed as far as evaluating the affidavit ballots?
Yeah, well, I can tell you at least Lisa Berry, who spoke earlier, she mentioned that people were physically saying you can't go look at these specific parts of the process, and that is correlated by other people who attempted to do it and described in detail the layout of the building, where it's like, okay, they were counting them in this, they were like assembling them in this one pile here where you could see it. Then when it came to count, they went into a closed room and then came out with, this is the count. There are people who can testify to that and give you their names. These audits, they need to be independently done. And I'm with a group that formed the day after we all everyone who was like so riled up and just what's happening, we all came to where the site of the purges that were first reported, back when it was just 60,000. And we kept in touch, and we've been keeping in touch, and we formed a small grassroots group called New York Election Justice. And we're trying to what degree we can conduct independent investigations. We filed FOIAs, we're digging through things, we're talking to people. And we are just trying to be the bulldog in this fight that I feel like a lot of good voter groups like Common Cause and you, and I'm in contact with people from there, League of Women Voters. None of you seem to be able to like create that urgency and fierce advocacy for really like stopping what happened here. It deserves to be stopped. And it's really unfortunate that, yes, a lot of the people who are upset about this are Bernie Sanders supporters, but I'm completely nonpartisan in the problems of this.
Look, for you and for everybody, your passion as active citizens for election reform is what's going to be essential to keep holding their feet to the fire, because there is a degree of sort of bureaucratic inertia which leads to lack of accountability and the problems we've seen. So just thank you all. The outcome, goals aside, partisan feelings aside, passion about holding accountability and election reform is going to be the key to change this going forward. I'm going to use the phrase going forward, even though that's not what you want to hear, but that's what we need to do, and there's no substitute for active citizens like yourself. So thank you.
Thank you.